wife came to Christ in 1972, asked me what I thought about that, and I threatened her with divorce because I was on the success track. And I was an entrepreneur, and I wanted to become wealthy, and I was getting it. And so she didn't say anything for 2 years, but she lived out 1 Peter 3. Mm-hmm. And it was a godly woman that there was something different. And so I prayed to receive Christ on my way to play golf in 1974. I had the 4 spiritual laws. I was by myself, read through those, and I said to the Lord, I don't want to change anything, but I'm willing to be changed. And that day I shot a 36 on the front side, and I said, man, if I'd have known this, I'd have become a Christian a long time ago. I got back on my game on the backside. But that led to joining Campus Crusade 2 years later and working in Africa for 2 years, traveling to Africa. I made 10 trips, but during that time, I was also teaching leadership seminars and decision-making seminars in the United States. I was gone 70% of the time. And my wife, we were in a strange city when we moved to Atlanta. My income had gone from $150,000 to $25,000. And we had 5 kids below the age of 12. And she had a husband gone 70% of the time. And she called me at the office one day and she said, how do you get unchristened? And I said, what do you mean? She said, if this is the abundant life, I've had all the abundance I can take. Mm-hmm. And what that led then was I was with Dr. Howard Hendricks, who was a friend and mentor. And he had been asking for financial advice from me, and I had been out of the financial world for a couple of years. But he said, would you take a look at my finances? Which I did. And I was able to sit down with he and Jean and say, you know what, Howie, you're doing just fine. And it was like a load came off of his shoulders. This was in 1979. And now when I look back over those 40 some years, I realize that the question he was asking is really the question almost everybody wants the answer to. And that is, how am I doing? They want to know the answer to that question. Every one of us wants to know. And of course, it changes over time. So I felt like, having traveled to Africa, that there was a lot of money in the United States. And so I determined through a series of things that I wanted to help Christians plan and manage their money so they'd have more to give away. And that was not called financial planning at the time. Financial planning didn't exist. There was no such thing as a CIP. And there was product sales, there was investment sales and insurance sales and so forth. But the first client that I had, he wanted to give $1 million to Campus Crusade. I did not know him. He was a physician. And I said, well, what's your income? He said, $82,000 a year. I said, what's your net worth? He said, I don't know, $300,000 or $400,000. And so I'm thinking, there's no way he can give $1 million away. But God in his providence had done something. And that was the last couple of years as a CPA, I had done a lot of bank projection work. And all it was projecting cash flows over 5 years and working them out to a final net worth statement. So that's what I did for this doctor. And it turned out he could give away $1 million. He had more property than he realized. He gave away his property, lowered his taxes, increased his cash flow, increased his giving, which lowered his taxes, which increased his cash flow. And you worked all that out. And in 5 years, he could give away $1 million and still have basically what he started with. And I thought there's a lot more people like that. And I've often, and I thought recently, what if he'd only wanted to give 100,000? That would have been my bar. But it was $1 million. And so my bar became $1 million. And because he gave it to Campus Crusade, Dr. Bright asked me to speak at all of their donor events. And I would say, look, if you want to give away $1 million or more, I can help you do that. And not only that, you can pay me to help you. And so I knew how to build a time-based business. So I didn't have to sell any product. And I knew how to do financial planning, and all of a sudden, in 5 years, I had a national clientele of rich, wealthy Christians who wanted to give. And that's how the whole thing got started. And today there's 10,000 clients that firm serves that are giving away 150 million a year. They're managing about 12 billion in assets. And I look back and I realize how God prepared me to do what I did. I can take zero credit for it. And it's such a joy now that I can look back and say, wow, isn't this great? And I'll finish with this. What I found was the people that gave away those huge sums of money were the most joyful people I knew, and the most contented that I knew. They were accomplishing something with the resources God had entrusted to them, and they were experiencing the joy of giving. So they were good investors, they were good entrepreneurs, but they were better givers.